Plaintiff Richard Chapman says he started dating the defendant after they met at church. And when he discovered she was 23 years younger than him, he thought he'd hit the jackpot. Richard and the defendant eventually got engaged, but the defendant later broke up with him. In a voicemail, he's suing for the cost of the engagement ring. Defendant Lisa Von Allman says when she started dating the plaintiff, she thought he was a God-fearing man, until he started making sexual advances towards her during church. Lisa admits that she ended the relationship in a voicemail, but claims it was because Richard made her extremely uncomfortable.
All right, prove your case.
Well, I'd first like to say that I watch your show every day at 4 o'clock.
Thank you.
And I'm really always impressed with your witty wisdom that you have in the courtroom here. But I have one problem. Judge Judy's on at 4 o'clock too.
Go back and forth.
So I have to flip it back and forth.
Hey.
And the only reason I do that is because she's prettier than you are.
Well, I don't feel bad if you go back and forth from Judge Judy. If you put me at her level, I'm doing something right. Judge Judy's ratings are higher than anybody's in daytime television, with the exception of Oprah. And in fact, she beats Oprah back and forth. They go back and forth as the highest rated daytime television shows, and she almost makes as much money as Oprah. So keep watching me, and maybe I can get a portion. Maybe I can make 10% of what Judy makes. I can get 10% of what Judy makes. I'll be in
Real
good
quick,
shape.
I'd just like to tell you, I would like to ask her out for dinner, just to see if she pointed her
You want
forehead.
that money. You're trying to go after Judy's money. Say if
Just
she'll
to
point
see if
that.
she'd say, "Do you see stupid up here?" If she didn't say that, I think I could have a relationship.
Let me thank you for watching, but don't think you're going to get a good judgment. The last person who told me that I had to dismiss a case and it was tough because it was $5,000. So I hope she still watches. So I hope I can do you right, because I need you to watch. Go ahead.
I really appreciate that, Your Honor. I met Lisa at church. We really hit it off. Dated her for about 4 weeks, and I realized she had told me that she was 23 years younger than me, and I thought, hot diggity dogs, I hit the jackpot. So anyway, at the end of 4 weeks, we were really doing well, and one Saturday, I believe, I said, let's go to the jewelry store and you can pick out a ring, and we'll get engaged and go from there. And she said, sure. So we went to the jewelry store, and she looked at the rings, and she had picked out a ring, and it was $800 or $900. And I looked at the jeweler. I said, "No, we need to talk about this." So I got that.
Stop the woman from getting an engagement ring for $800. That's not bad. You have on $2,000 worth of jewelry yourself. Go ahead.
I'm going to get to that, Your Honor.
All right.
Anyway, I got it down to $500, and I was really very happy that my fiance was very frugal in her selecting that ring, because she could have picked $2,000 or $3,000, and it could have been a little more.
I told you he was trying to get to Judge Judy for her money.
Yeah, that's right.
Go ahead.
But anyway, we had talked about a wedding date in the fall, and then a few days later, Lisa said, "Well, I'd rather get married after the first year." So we picked a date of January the 16th of 2010.
Go ahead, ma'am. Give me your background on this.
And we did meet at church, and I believed him to be a God-fearing man, but he turned out to be, I guess, sort of a freak that...
What now?
he did some things that made me very uncomfortable. And
Uncomfortable?
Yes, sir. And
like what?
we would go shopping, and he would buy me some things, and he'd suggest a sexual favor for getting certain things one time, and it just, my goodness. And then he bought me some shoes, and we'd be at church together, and he rubbed my shoes and suggested how he'd like to see me in those shoes.
Pumps?
was very...
Red pumps?
No.
Oh.
they were black stilettos, but we were in the pews in church when he did this, and it just, was very shocking. And he went as far as to ask a woman that he bowls with what type of bra she wears because he wanted that look for me. And that was upsetting also.
Did you do all this?
Yes, sir, I did do that.
Be so honest. Go ahead.
He just got, it just got further and further, and I just kept on getting more and more uncomfortable, and,
But you stuck around.
Well, not as long as he says I did.
How long?
Well, and May 31st was my grandson's birthday, and I went to my daughter's Eva's house for the birthday party, and he kept calling down there wanting to know what I was doing, who's around or whatever, and I come back and he met me at the apartment, and he's just kind of sniffing around and gave me a kiss and said he didn't want me to give his loving away. And
now I know you said the man is kind of out there sexually. So when you say the man was sniffing around, would you mean literally or figuratively?
Literally. Well,
What
like
parts?
around my, my face. Then he gave me a kiss.
He was sniffing around.
Yes.
Okay, your neck. There's nothing
Okay.
wrong with that. You acted like there was a problem.
No.
Go ahead.
Well, it was just very uncomfortable. And
Weren't you dating him?
yes.
Was uncomfortable with being
It's just-
kissed or
well,
sniffed around? He might have been sniffing your perfume.
He said he didn't want me to give his loving away to another man.
What's uncomfortable about that?
Well, I resented it. He's accusing me of giving his loving away, and I didn't do
I
anything.
believe there's a lot of women that don't mind their boyfriend sniffing on their neck, perfume or whatever. Baby, I love your perfume. In church or something, and hey, baby, I like those shoes. Or what else you say it did somewhere?
It was just, it wasn't like that. It was very uncomfortable.
Go ahead.
Anyway, he
We've
was
heard
just
worse.
making me
Yeah,
uncomfortable.
we definitely heard worse. Right. Go ahead, ma'am. It was making you uncomfortable. And
Yes.
you said you were speaking of May of 2009. It's when he told you he didn't want you to see other guys, or he was expressing his concern.
And that was the end of May, 1st of June.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, he said he didn't want me to give his loving away, and I told him I resented that, and I was tired from the trip, and he left. And that's when I just had enough of him making me very uncomfortable with things he was doing, not Christian things. And
Like what was unchristian?
well, how you don't do sexual suggestions in the middle of church. You listen to your pastor, for goodness sakes.
You're
you know?
right, but you're right about that. But I'm not sure that was that was just a compliment to his woman. Hey, nice shoes.
It's just
Let me see the texture.
It's just
Are these leather or is this?
he went.
That's not unchristian.
He went as far as, he offered me, I don't know, I felt bad, and he'd offered me his pain
I'm start taking
medication.
some tips on this. He did what now? My man sound like he all right with me. What else?
He offered.
Glue on the neck. Touch the shoe in church. What else?
He just made me very uncomfortable, Your Honor.
Yeah,
and I
okay.
wasn't comfortable with the situation anymore. So after the birthday party, I told him, please don't come by. And
Okay.
after that phone call, he went to a trip to his daughter's, which I declined to go with him. And he came back, wanted to know how I was, and I said, perhaps you didn't understand. Please don't call. Please don't come by.
Why you hurt the man like that? Sir, let me hear what happened.
After we had been had kind of set the date of January the 16th, I also talked to her about a prenuptial agreement because in the past,
You been ripped off?
yeah,
Go ahead.
several of my wives.
Several. I need all the notes you can give me, Doc. You done had that many wives. So you wanted a prenup. Did
Yes,
she
I wanted a
agree?
prenup, but and she agreed. That was fine.
Okay.
So we continued, and there was a trip. I wanted to go down and see my daughter in Texas in June, and I asked her and her daughter. Her daughter's as sweet as cotton candy. 13 years old. I had my granddaughter is 13 years old. I thought they'd really hit it off good. So anyway, he was going to go down to Texas, and I have an Extreme Super Cab, big red Ford F650 pickup truck, which I have a picture of here. I didn't know if you'd like to take a peek at that.
If that's a note I need to write down, I'll look at it.
She has
you gotta take a good look at it first. We may need to get us one of these. Red pickup. I mean, really, how old are you, sir, if you don't mind?
69, I'll be 70.
How old are you, if you don't
46.
mind? Right, and at 69, she's 46. We need these notes.
She has
a red. Oh, that's bad.
She has a commercial
so far,
license to drive that
neck,
truck.
Touch the shoe and get a red pickup.
She has a commercial. But anyway, she was unable to go. When I came back, I called her just to let her know that I was back, see how she was doing. Couldn't get her. Went over to her house, met the landlord in the parking lot. I said, I'm looking for Lisa. She said she's up. I just talked to her a few minutes ago, so I knocked on the door, couldn't get her. I thought, well, I don't know where she's at. I'll call her later. Went back to my place, and that's when I had a phone call or a phone message of Lisa breaking.
Is that the message?
Yes,
you have
sir.
it on your recording?
Yes, sir,
Let me
it
hear
is.
that.
Hi, Rick. This is Lisa. We're over. Please don't call. Please don't come by. Sorry. Take care, and God bless. Bye.
You didn't even give him a reason. Why did you break off the engagement, ma'am?
He made me very uncomfortable. That's why I didn't even answer the door. I didn't want to be around
You were
him.
already uncomfortable when you agreed to marry him. You have your receipt for the amount of the ring or anything thereabout?
Thanks.
You hadn't run out of money, had you?
No, sir.
I got it now. It makes sense. When you asked for that prenup, that's what killed it. Okay, because that didn't make sense. All right. Yeah, that's what happened, sir. $500 is the plaintiff's judgment. And if you want to get you another young girl, you might have to stop asking about them prenups. Seems like that's running them off. Have a good day.